had 11,000 followers on Facebook. I came back on that Monday to 2 million followers. It really happened. I truly believe there was something deeper going on. I believe in something greater. I asked for it, and here it was. On the day that I was to go into the office, I went into the office and there was an elevator and I pushed the button, not the floor of my office, but another floor. And I went into HR and I resigned. And I had no idea I would do that. No idea. There is no such thing as fearlessness, shakiness, anxiety, fear, excitement. It's normal. We do not stop. You keep taking action, even with shaky knees.
Hi, Helene. Welcome. I'm so excited.
Me too.
How are you today?
I'm very good. And you know why? I swam at 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
I do that every day to keep my spirit up.
That's fantastic. Well, welcome to Michelle's Seat at the Table. I'm honored to have you join me today. It's been a long time we've been having this conversation, but as you know, this podcast is about leadership. It's about community. It's about the conversations that shape us. And, you know, as well, it's not just about the destination. It's about the journey, and that's what enriches our lives and our stories. And so I'd like to give the audience a little bit about you, and then I'll open it up. But I'm excited to have Helene Lerner as our guest today. She's a trailblazing entrepreneur, author, and empowerment expert. And as a CEO of Creative Expansions Incorporated, a multimedia company she has led for decades, she is known for turning vision into impact. And one of the things I'm excited about, we'll get to, is her latest book, Smart Women Live Richly, No Matter What's in Your Wallet. It gives practical strategies on living a prosperous life. And so again, welcome, and tell us a little bit more about you and where you're joining from today.
Yes, well, I'm in a home office right now, and that picture, wonderful woman. I did some soulful wisdom cards for women who do too much. And I think you know a lot of them, and so
I do.
I have some interesting backstory, which you don't even know about, Michelle.
Okay.
So I worked for a major newspaper when I first started out for over 13 years. And I had my first and only son, and I had to go back to work after being off for maternity leave. And I was going crazy because I knew there was something, a passion of mine was to empower women and girls.
Yes.
And I wanted to do that. And, you know, at that time, golden handcuffs were winning. So I had a good job. I was making money. And yet I had this burning desire to empower women and girls. And I didn't even know multimedia at that time. My background was marketing and sales. So what happened is the week before it was that I was supposed to go back. Should I go back to work? Should I stay home? Should I create my own company? Should I go?
Oh, wow. Those are heavy questions.
Very heavy questions. And the heavy answer was go back to work. So on the day that I was to go into the office, I went into the office and there was an elevator and I pushed the button to not the floor of my office, but another floor. And I walked out like in a daze. I was in a daze. And I went into HR.
Oh, my.
And I resigned. And I had no idea.
That was not the plan when you got on the elevator or walked into the building.
No idea. But my intuition, that deep part inside of me, was telling me it was time. Move on. You're needed in doing this. So then I said,
what a brave
oh
decision.
my God, now what do I do? What do I do? And I think people heard my passion. I didn't have the skills to do television, which is what I wanted to do, but I'm a smart lady and I was watching how people do it, just like you're doing,
That's
Michelle.
right. That's it.
And I had the passion and I got people together and I got a medical center in New York City to stake me. I think it was $5,000 for my first show. And I
Woohoo!
did it as community outreach. And then I realized I had to raise money. So I had incredible sponsors. I mean, BMS was one, then IBM, J&J. I mean, I had them all. And I was just starting out, but people heard my servant leadership. People heard that I was going to make a difference in multimedia, and that's what they heard. So it wasn't, oh, give me money. It was,
Sure.
there's a need right here, and I want to serve the need. So, P.S., 23 televised shows, 2 Emmys, 7 Gracie Allen Awards from American Women in Radio and Television, the
Congratulations.
major award from my distributor, and I did some amazing work.
Is that when you founded WomenWorking?
Here's what happened with that one. And that's why I believe, even though we function from the head, what I tell people, very often our head is negative mind talk. And
Oh, yeah.
we
We have
don't,
to change that.
we have to, but our heart knows what's needed. So what happened was one of my shows was about women in the workplace, and IBM was a sponsor and Procter and Gamble. And they said to me, Helene, it was Women Working and Beyond, something like that. And they said to me, why don't you create a website? I said, I know how to do that. Whatever. This is back when, folks, when no
Yes.
one had to do anything. Now anyone can do anything. And they said, I'll help you and we'll sponsor the website. So
Fantastic.
I created womenworking.com, and you're not going to believe this, but this really happened, folks. I don't tell the story usually in this way if I'm speaking in a corporate workplace. But what happened is about 10 years ago, I really felt the world was not in a good place. And from my deepest part of me, I am a spiritual lady.
Mm-hmm.
From the deepest part of me, I said, please use me in a bigger way. Now, I'm telling you, this really happened. I went to a yoga retreat over the weekend. I had 11,000 followers on Facebook. I came back on that Monday to 2 million followers.
Wow.
It really happened.
What
And all
sparked that? What did you do before
All
going on
ad
the...
agencies said to me, what did you do? Just that kind of question. How'd you get it to be viral like that? And I said, I gave them a pat answer. I said, well, we interviewed celebrities and I asked the celebrities to please put the information on their sites. But I truly believe there was something deeper going on.
Mm-hmm.
This was a goal, a passion that could make a difference. And I believe in something greater. I asked for it, and here it was.
Well, asking is part of the battle and the opportunity, right? We have to ask. And I love what you said about like your mindset. You believed it in your heart, you spoke it, whether it's a prayer or a meditation, but you claimed it. And that's one of the things that I talk about on this podcast a lot, is claiming your seat and owning that seat and owning your power, and your mindset is part of that. One question I wanted to ask you, and it sparked as you were talking about that story, and thank you so much for sharing it. Congratulations, because that's amazing. And there are a lot of people who need to hear that
Right.
inspiration.
Definitely these days.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, in the title of this, in the name of the podcast, Michelle's Seat at the Table, I talk about the conversations that we have at the table, in the boardroom, at the kitchen table. There are a lot of forums, but what we talk about often are the things aren't necessarily spoken out loud or lessons. So, my question is, you've sat at a lot of tables in your career, and what do you wish someone had told you earlier about those tables and about those rooms and how to navigate them?
First of all, the focus needs to be, yes, what can I get from being at this table? Because
Hmm.
I want to advance my career. I want to be prosperous, make a good income for me and my family. And I'm a smart lady and I'm a leader. So all of those things. Now that's the hard talk. The
I
head
love all those things.
says, "Oh no, you're not." Blah, 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 blah. I don't
Yes.
listen. I change the channel. I listen to my heart.
Hmm.
So I deserve to be at the table, right?
Yes.
However, the focus, if I'm really still, and I do meditate daily, Michelle, and because I couldn't live in New York City if I did. But if I'm still and I'm
Yes.
listening to that stuff, I can really read a room and
Mm.
I can see what's going on. Now, what I wish someone had told me earlier that I've learned is my voice is important. So to keep speaking up when I can make a difference, but also, and I say this to all of you out there, to pick your issues. Do
Mm.
not make a big deal over everything. But when you know something is important and you can make a difference and people are not saying it, you pick your issue and let your voice be heard. And I know you're going to ask me a question because I think it goes right here about confidence and shaky knees. I want
Yes.
to ask that now because it's a great lead into
Well,
that.
yes. Well, that's one of the, it is one of the things because as I was reviewing your book and you were talking about one of your philosophies, I think is, distinguishing, or my question around distinguishing between fearlessness and confidence. And one of the stories you told me is, doing it with shaky knees and the courage that it takes to step
Sure.
out. Like when you got in that elevator and pushed the button, I mean, that takes courage. How I started this podcast. My knees were shaking starting this podcast. It's just, you have to step out. You have to believe in yourself. But tell me how you got to.
Let me tell you, and I think what happens is a lot of us, when we feel shaky, we stop. But
Can't stop.
no, if this is important to you and you have shaky knees, first of all, I don't buy into any notion of fearlessness. There is no such thing as fearlessness. I know there's a word in the dictionary. I do not believe it because when you step out of your comfort zone, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
Something you've done for years and do something different, even if you're in the same job, but you're out of your comfort zone,
Yep.
it ain't going to feel comfortable. Shakiness, anxiety, fear, excitement is normal. We
Sure.
do not stop. Now, you know how I learned this? I wrote another book, which is really a good book. It's called The Confidence Myth. Why
The
women,
confidence myth. Okay. And
why,
we will put that note to that in the show notes as well. But
why
please go on.
women undervalue their skills and how to get over it. So I was interviewing at that time, she was the CEO of a $12 billion company, a terrific leader. And I said to her, how did you develop your confidence? And she said, Helene, In 2008, when the market was tanking, I was the chief marketing officer at the time. I went into a room of C-suite leaders and she said, "We're not focusing on recession. We're focusing on growth." And then she chuckled, Michelle, and she said, "You didn't see my knees. They were shaking under the table." So the bottom line is, who knows better than you? I don't
Yeah.
care what level you're at, whether you're a senior leader or you're just beginning leadership or you're an entry-level person. When you focus and you have an idea and you know it's a good idea, that's picking your issue and don't stop.
I love that. I love the power in that. And we have to regain and reclaim our power. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that story. And I'm going to use that. And I'm going to probably, in a conversation, talk about shaky knees and keep going and having the confidence to do that. And now I know you have written several books, but one that I want to talk about is the latest book that you wrote. Smart Women Live Richly, regardless of what's in their, no matter what's in their wallet, excuse me. What
Read the second part, the subtitle. Can you see?
Oh, I can. 6 Keys to Unlocking True Wealth and Prosperity.
True wealth.
Where did this book idea and motivation come from?
By the way, the book is on Amazon, so please, I wrote this. I do a lot of events at corporations. I've been all over. And again, as a servant leader, I'm observing what's needed out there. And I see a lot of people off the mark, Michelle. There's so much pressure on people
Oh,
right
gosh.
now. And the fact that I can't tell you how many people I'll be on a call with, and they're looking at their pads, their tablets. There is an epidemic of loneliness coming out of COVID. Even if you live with someone, even if you have kids, we're not connecting. There's too much to do, not enough time to do it. And very often I'll get on a Zoom call with an executive and I'll say, "Wait a second, stop. I want you to just breathe." And I'm going to ask you to do it right now, Michelle.
Okay.
It's just, just stop and listen for the sounds near and far, and deep breathe. Now that brings me back into the present moment. And in the present moment, everything is okay. And when we make decisions, and I'm not saying it's just women, it's everyone now, based on fear and lack and AI and geopolitics.
All the things, right?
And everything that we're facing coming out of COVID, finances. When we make decisions based on that, we do not do ourselves a service. We do not do our companies a service, our families a service. And why I wrote the book is because I'm seeing lots of people where it looks like the rug has been pulled from under. So the book is filled with practices that I created, stories that are inspiring, that will help ground you so that when the challenges come, and they will,
Of course,
we
they
go
will.
to our own core beliefs. And that's how we make decisions for ourselves and for other people. I think women don't think big enough. That's what I think. I think whatever your vision or dream, think bigger. Whatever
I
it is,
love that.
think bigger. I see Michelle's podcast all over with millions of people. Look, think bigger.
Think bigger.
Why not? Why
I
not
am
you?
accepting all of that. I will take that for myself. I know my listeners will take that. And how it's what you said, being rich, regardless of what is in your wallet. It's a rich mindset. It's a prosperity
That's
mindset.
exactly
And
right.
that's why this is such a great connection. And you're a great guest on this podcast. Those are the
I
principles.
I want to say what you said. When I said true wealth and prosperity,
Yeah,
I don't need to make billions. I've made a lot of money and thank you, God.
that's right.
But, and I know the pressures. I was a single mom with a young son, not knowing where my next was going to come from. I know that pressure. But are we really taking in the prosperity around us? Are we so busy looking at tablets? And I know the
Mm-hmm.
pressures, your boss is running and doing all sorts of things. However, are we seeing a child smile on the street? Are we looking at a person in the supermarket who did an extra kindness for you, whatever that might be?
Mm-hmm.
Are we taking the time when a friend is really, really upset and we know they just need someone to listen to? Or are we saying, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do this? And you know what?
Have to pause.
We have to pause and look at our priorities.
So before we get into the lightning round questions, my final question is, what does your seat at the table look like today? And what does that mean to you?
I think the biggest thing that concerns me right now are the mental health issues that I'm seeing around, where um, there's just too much to do and not enough time to do it in. So I'm looking to be out there and do events and do things with people. The book is a platform. I have over 250,000 followers in my different platforms where I can help ground people
Mm-hmm.
in remembering what their strengths are, who they really are, not just the head talk when we get into the daily routine. So that's my foundation. That's my vision at the table right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. So we'll lighten it up a little bit, have a little bit of fun before we close. I love to put a little
Humor.
fun, a
Yeah.
little fun in it. So, are you an early bird or a night owl?
I get up, folks. I'm not saying anyone should do this. I was born at 4:30 in the morning. And I've been told I get up without a clock every morning at about 4:30. I was told that's my witching hour.
Oh, okay.
At night, you can't get to me, but in the morning, you can get to me.
Early bird it is. Okay. And when working, do you prefer complete silence or do you listen to a playlist or music or TV or something like that?
Um, I like silence, and I also sometimes listen to positive affirmations and things like that.
And then last question, when you're flying, do you prefer an aisle seat or a window seat?
Ow. But I look at the window because I like to spread out, but I look at what's going on outside.
I like that. Well, thank you. Helene, thank you again so much for your time and for your words of wisdom and your insights and telling us about your journey. It has been a really joy having you on today. Why don't you tell us what's the best way for people to find out more about your work and to
Before I
connect with
do
you?
that, I want to
Yes,
say one other thing.
sure.
I so respect Michelle.
Oh,
Change is difficult, and she has the biggest heart and a real purpose and she's out there and doing it. And we need more people like that around that really care because, as I said, the world is not in a great place these days. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm the founder of WomenWorking.com. There's a website. I also have a terrific program that you can find out more about on the website. I'm on TikTok. I have a Facebook group. I have X, following on X, and Pinterest and all that other stuff. So,
Okay. And we will put it all in the show notes so that people know how to reach you as well. Thank you.
thank you.
The most important conversations don't always happen in the boardroom. They happen right here at the table. Thank you for listening. And if this podcast episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend. Invite them to the table. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform.